Hello, everybody.
Is that my cue?
That was your cue.
Okay. All right, let's go again.
All right. Sorry. Right, ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode.
Hi, guys. How are we all doing?
So, today we have a couple of interesting topics for you all. But to start with, I think we need to bring this to your attention. This is our 10th episode. So, we are officially in double digits. Woo.
Yay.
One day we'll have a proper video editor and they will have little confetti going off and the little celebration sound that's like woo.
Sound effects board.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to see a glossary of terms for this episode, there will definitely be some interesting terms in this episode and a quiz to make sure you have been listening well and to see what you have understood. All of that is on our Patreon for free. Just sign up as a free member and it will be in the post below the video.
Exactly. And I think it makes the podcast a little bit more fun if you've got a little quiz to do at the end as a little reward, maybe.
Yeah, it makes it a bit more interactive. And we've spoken before about active and passive learning. So if you are actively taking notes using the glossary and actively doing the quiz, then that is something extra for you. You're not just watching a video and forgetting about it.
Exactly.
Okay, Cal, you have a nice t-shirt on today.
Yeah, exactly. It's my new Brazilian t-shirt. You all probably know this by now, but I have officially moved to Brazil, and this is actually our first podcast with me in Brazil. So a special podcast, number 10 and long distance, I guess.
Going international, our transnational podcast.
Tea Break International. But yeah, I arrived. So today we're recording on Friday, and I arrived on Tuesday morning. I spent the weekend in London staying with my brother, and I got a direct flight, which was very fun. So it's just direct, so no stops, London to Sao Paulo, and it's very fun because on British Airways you get free drinks, and I probably should say other airlines are available. This isn't an advert, but I had a very fun flight. I sat next to someone very nice, and we drank some beers. I slept well, and I woke up in Sao Paulo fresh and ready to meet my new flatmates.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even really know that there were that many direct flights. I guess maybe Rio, Sao Paulo, a couple of direct ones, but normally it's a bit of a mission normally to get to Brazil.
Yeah, I was considering a cheaper flight, which went through Bogota in Colombia, and then it was like 6 hours down to here. And yeah, I mean, it might be quite fun, but in the end, I decided to pay a little bit extra to just get on the plane and fall asleep, basically, and wake up in Brazil.
Yeah, I think that Bogota flight is the one that I'm getting. I think that's my one. But yeah, I wish it. Well, you had the weekend in London, so you already had a mini trip before your big trip. So you definitely didn't want to have a very long, a long haul flight, long haul flight.
Yeah, exactly. I also spent so much money in London, pretty much all of it, because it's so expensive. But yeah, it was nice. I had the weekend in London, and then I came here, and it's amazing, when you go to sleep on a plane and you wake up on the other side of the world, really. And I met all of my flatmates. Everyone's really friendly. The house is great. We have an outdoor kitchen, a pool. Fair enough, it's like a mini rented stand-up pool, but it's still a pool. And yeah, just getting used to the weather. I sunburnt a little bit on the first day. But yeah, it's lovely so far. Eating lots of fruit, drinking lots of coffee, and yeah, enjoying the sunshine. So that's my update. How's your life been in the UK, Finn?
Yeah, well, I definitely haven't been getting sunburnt. That made me laugh. It's just classic British, isn't it? To go away, get sunburnt on the first day, and it's almost rude not to.
Yeah, I would say so. It's tradition. It's British heritage. I arrived on the first day. All of the Brazilians were complaining about how cold it was. I think it was like 20 degrees and cloudy, and I managed to get sunburnt.
Nice. Well, I think after British winter, you are just vulnerable and very susceptible to sunburn.
Yeah, exactly. I think my body was maybe a bit shocked and needs to accustom.
Maybe you need to spend some time in that pool then to cool your body down.
Yeah, that would be nice. I need to work on my beach body first, though, I think. But yeah, no chance of you getting sunburn in the Cornish weather, I guess.
Nope. I'm just looking now, completely overcast with dark grey cloud.
Lovely.
And
so the past week.
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to ask, how many people are you living with? Because you told me it was quite a few.
Yeah, well, there's like 18 rooms in the house. The house is really big, and there's different sections. So there's 18 rooms, but only 8 people here when I arrived. But it's starting to fill up slowly, so more people are arriving each day. So it's nice. People are all nice. I think a lot of people are like young professionals, so they're working in perhaps their first job after university. So we have the evenings together, but during the day, the house is pretty empty.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty sick. It's good how it's communal and you'll have a chance to practice your Portuguese a little more, because if you live on your own, then it can be a little bit harder. Well, I mean, you have a job, you'll be teaching English, but you'll still be speaking a little bit of Portuguese. You'll have some Brazilian friends, but if you are literally just surrounded by it at home, then there's no better way to practice and train your Portuguese.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like we spoke about how important it is to just kind of consume the language you're learning. So just if it's even hearing other people or music or watching films together, that really helps. And yeah, of course, just talk as much as you can. So that's me in Brazil. That's my little life update. What's been going on with you, Finn?
So last week I had my big race. It was supposed to be an ultra, supposed to be 50 kilometers, but a few weeks ago I decided to drop down to the marathon, so 42 kilometers. And it was definitely the right decision for me. I managed it, and my girlfriend still did the ultra. She managed that, so we smashed it really, which was good. We had to split. We had to separate. I think 15 kilometers in, maybe, because I was too slow. Basically, I was holding her back because it gets dark quite early, so she needed to make. It was called a cutoff point. So her cutoff point was a lot further along than mine. So she needed to maintain an average pace that I could not maintain.
Yeah, fair enough. And
Um,
I heard you. Well, we saw on the Discord actually that you sustained a bit of an injury during the run.
yeah, I had a little bit of a tumble. Well, maybe not a tumble. I think a tumble implies that you roll a little bit.
Yeah, I think a tumble's not so bad, but yours maybe looked quite bad.
It was a slip. So my foot just slipped out from underneath me, and I landed. We say flat on my bottom, and I was eating a squares bar. And, so I was eating that, and I think as I fell backwards, I just stuck my arm up in the air to keep the squares bar from touching the mud because it was very muddy. I didn't want it to go in the mud. And then somehow I just smacked my arm on the floor as I landed. And well, it hurt quite a lot, but it was fine. I thought, oh, I've just banged it and it'll be fine. And then my arm was covered in a lot of mud. So I had a long sleeve t-shirt on that was kind of like a compression one. And there was a lot of mud caked on. So I saw a little bit of blood and I was like, it'll be fine. And that was at about 10 a.m., I think. 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., something like that. And then it wasn't till 5:30 p.m. that I went to have a shower and looked at it, and there was basically just a chunk taken out of my arm. And if I moved it a little bit, if I moved the skin around it, I couldn't see. It was just blackness. It looked like a mini abyss into the unknown of my arm.
Wow. Yeah, Finn's kindly sent me a video of it, and I have to say it was very gory. But I guess when it happened, the adrenaline must have kind of hid the pain slightly, so you didn't realize until later on. Did it start to hurt afterwards?
Actually, no. It hurt for just like 15 minutes and then went away. But there wasn't very much blood, which I don't really understand. I don't know how. But because I just slipped over and hit it on the floor, and it was quite a muddy section, I thought that it was fine. I thought I had just hit it flat on the ground, so there wouldn't be a hole in my arm. But we looked at the photo, actually. I got my girlfriend to take a photo of me when I had fallen over, and there were a lot of rocks around, so I think I might have hit it on a rock.
I can't believe all of that for the sake of a square bar. A square bar is just like a sweet treat, a snack. And I can't believe you had to go to hospital because of a square bar.
Yeah, well, priorities, isn't it? And
I think this
squares bar's it's not even square, it's rectangle.
I think this image of someone falling over and holding something, protecting something in the hand is probably quite universal. It's normally a beer. People can fall down the stairs of the pub maybe and take a huge fall, but manage to keep their beer level and not spill a single drop.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was a snack.
Yeah. I somehow managed to keep it clean and finished it. And yeah, I guess well, should move on to the hospital bit, because I went to minor injuries, we call it. So it's not for emergencies, but it's for things that have happened within the last 48 hours. But because it was late at night, the X-ray machine and the X-ray people had gone. So the machine was turned off and the people, the staff had left. And the nurse that saw me said she wanted it X-rayed. And because it was so deep, she didn't have the equipment to be able to clean it out properly. So I had to go to the only big proper hospital in Cornwall, which was a further half an hour away from where I already was. And long story short, I got home at 4 a.m. I think I left the hospital at 3:15, 3:30, something like that.
God.
So a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I think that's a classic experience of the NHS, maybe the National Health Service. So it's free in the UK, and we love it, but and we're very lucky to have it. But they're always busy, and often people have injuries, and they think I should go, but it's gonna take like 7 to 8 hours of waiting, and I'm gonna be home at 4 a.m. So it sounds like a pretty classic experience.
Yeah, and that was my thinking. I was going to leave it to the next day, but my mum forced me to go, and I'm pretty glad she did, because it was a lot more serious than I thought. Because in the second hospital, the doctor said that he could see my bone, and well, he wasn't being very gentle with it. all of the doctors were very sympathetic. So if they move it or touch it and you wince with pain, then they say sorry, but not this guy. This guy was just absolutely throwing it about. I got it X-rayed and it was completely fine, but the hospital actually released a black alert, I think either on that day or the day before, for being understaffed. So they didn't have enough staff or whatever. And I think for a hospital to call a black alert is really, really bad. And it was all very disjointed, disconnected. So I would see one person, and then they would write the notes and say what was going to happen. And then I spoke to 3 or 4 more people, and then they just had no idea. Like every time I went in, I had to re-explain everything and say like, oh, I've been here and they've said this. I just had it X-rayed, and like it was very disjointed, disconnected, and not the, I guess, high quality service you would obviously hope for, but it is something we have come to expect. Like you say, we expect to be there until 3 a.m., 4 a.m. and that's what happened.
Well, it's a good job that you got it cleaned and stitched up and didn't become disfigured. So maybe you'll have quite a cool little scar and a story to tell, I guess, in the pub.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I do get a scar. Otherwise, that saving that squares bar was not worth it.
Yeah. Did you, quickly before we finish, did you celebrate after the run, or slightly after the run once you recovered?
Not yet. I've had quite a busy week. It was the return to work for a company that I work for, and we were just so tired that it takes a while just to recover to a basic point, and then it was kind of straight back in.
Right. Okay. So not exactly the celebration and the rest you maybe deserved.
No, but next week I will be going back up to Cardiff, and there I will see all of my friends from uni. So I'm sure there will be a few celebrations or two.
Happy days. Well, good stuff. I think we might stop blabbering on now. So, as always, all the glossary terms we've used will be below. And in the paid podcast, we'll have the transcript and the quiz.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys, and see you next Monday.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, bye from Brazil.